Hello everyone, my name is Corbin and this is Plant Basics. In today's episode we are going to do a Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma rescue. A Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma is a very easy houseplant, but it can also sometimes have issues. And one of the biggest issues with Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma is root rot. Because the plant is an aroid, it does have sensitive roots. And one of its biggest issues is root rot. So when planting your plant, always make sure that you use a well-draining media, and you can also augment your drainage by adding in perlite. So the plant we are going to be looking at today has been planted in a very moisture retentive media, and I suspect that is why we have issues with root rot. So we are going to do a rescue on this plant. Leaf wilting is one of the first signs of root rot, because what has now happened is that the roots have failed and the plant has no way of bringing moisture up to the leaves. So it's actually funny that overwatering and underwatering has very much the same symptoms when it comes to the leaves. But one of the telltale signs of root rot or advanced root rot is the stems, is the black stems, is the rot moving up the plant stem. So because this plant is an aroid, one of the easiest ways to save it is by propagation, because what happens is that the rot starts off at the roots and gradually moves up the roots into the stem and eventually killing the whole plant. But we can save the plant by propagating the upper stems, and that is what I'm going to do today. So first things first is we're going to take the plant off the moss pole. So I'm just going to remove all the clips. These clips are ideal if you want to get a plant attached to a moss pole. Alternatively, you can also use cable ties. Okay, so I've taken off all the clips and I'm going to reuse those later. And now I'm just going to have a look at the plant. And you can see this is not a happy plant. This is definitely, the leaves are starting to wilt. The stem here is completely rotten. So I want to take out this moss pole first. Once I do that, I might as well take out the pieces of the plants as well. Well, there, I didn't even need to take out the moss pole. So let's see what we have here. So you can see these roots are completely dead. They are just like coming off the plant, and here you can see the stem came apart. So what I'm actually going to do is try and cut these off. The stem looks relatively healthy. So we're going to cut the plant below the next node, like that. I'm also going to take off a couple of these leaves to reduce the transpiration that the plant has to do. Just want to have a look at the inside of this. I'll actually cut this a bit shorter. So I want to have a look at the inside. Yeah, so that's healthy. So this part of the stem looks healthy and green. So pop that in. The next part of the plant is this one. So I'm going to cut this below the next node, take off some of the leaves. Some of the leaves are already in advanced stages of wilting, and pop that into my glass. Yeah, so all of these roots have failed, more or less. And I think the main reason for that is that this growing media has just kept on to too much moisture for too long. The other thing I suspect is that the pot was too big to accommodate the roots. So what that means is that the plant was essentially over potted. So there's too much media in the pot, which is holding on to too much moisture and not draining freely enough. This is why I've always advised people when repotting to only go one size up. Otherwise you end up with this issue where plants are overpotted and they hold on to too much moisture in the growing media. The other issue here is I think that the plant was not, or that the media was not augmented with anything to increase the drainage. So perlite would have helped. What would have been a great solution is to have used 50-50 as a potting soil and perlite to really get this plant in the drainage route, to give it oxygen at the roots. Okay, now I'm going to take off this piece. So you always cut below a node, so the roots can come out at the node. It's similar to how you would do with a pothos or philodendron. I think one of the biggest issues here was that when the plant was potted up, it wasn't, the media wasn't augmented with any perlite or pumice or anything to really increase the drainage. And that resulted to the growing media holding on to too much moisture at every watering and not completely drying out. And over time, having that excess moisture in the pot will contribute to issues like root rot or stem rot. This is also why I've always told people to really, when you repot, to only go one size up. Because if you have a great leap, you have this thing where the plant is in too much soil and the soil is holding on to too much moisture. So next I'm going to take off this piece. Just take off all the low leaves. You don't want any of the leaves to be submerged in the water, because what will happen is they will start to decay and it will take out all the oxygen in the water. So it's really not conducive to root growth. I should make this a bit shorter. It does look that there are some nodes on here that's already that looks alive, so they will probably easily sprout in the water. So let's discuss how you are going to care for these cuttings in water. So you are definitely going to want to change out this water every week so that it stays fresh, full of oxygen. You're also going to want to look out for any murkiness in the water, because that might be an indication of a rot. And you're also going to want to look out for algae, because if there's any algae growth, it's going to also take out oxygen out of the water, which could be detrimental to your cuttings. And thanks so much for watching. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to see more videos like these.